Welcome back to Talkin Shop with ShopSabre. Back with Nick. How you doing?
Good, man. How's it going?
Oh, not too bad, man. Back with another episode today. Man, you look different.
Why do you say that?
I think it's a lack of facial hair.
Oh, yeah.
Shaved the beard off, huh?
Good bet's gone bad.
Good bets gone bad. I like that. That's the name of this episode. It's Good Bets Gone Bad. Yeah, no, you lost your beard in a bet or a fantasy football.
I did. It'll grow back. It'll be okay.
So you and Curtis
Yep,
had a bet
we did.
that whoever finished lower in the standings, is that what it was?
No, whoever just had less wins. Yeah.
So whoever got
Yeah.
beat
Yeah. pretty
had to
much.
shave their beard.
Correct. And I was way behind him.
So say he finished
Way
fifth.
behind him.
He finished fifth,
And I was probably 10th.
and you were 10th. Yeah, rough deal, man.
Well, things are more fun when there's something on the line.
I agree. I enjoy
So,
it.
is
You
what it
almost had to shave your hair for a while there.
Yeah, that would have been something.
That was gonna be awesome. He bet me that he told me the Vikings were not gonna get. There was no chances. I think is how the conversation actually started. Was we were down like 3-0. You know, we were down 0-3 for the season. And he told me the Vikings couldn't rip off 7 in a row.
I feel like you said they were going to go 14-3.
I said 7 in a row. We had to get to 10 wins.
10 wins.
Is what it was.
I got 6.
Yeah, and you were like, they can't do it in a row. They can't do it in a row. And I'm like, I bet they can. We needed 7 because we went 3-3. And you're like, there's no way they rip off 7 more. And at that point is when you said, I'll shave my head if they go 7.
That's right. And then who ended that streak? Who was it? Was it the Packers?
They went.
Lions?
They started
6.
going. We were dominating, and it looked very possible. And then Kirk Cousins got hurt.
I actually kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, I know you did until I told you that day that Kirk Cousins got hurt. I'm like, hey, you may have just saved your hair.
If he wouldn't have gotten hurt, I might have.
You may have been shaving
lost
your
that
head.
for
Yeah,
sure.
you may have been shaving.
They may have not lost another game.
They were playing ridiculous at the time, so that would have been awesome if you had to shave your beard and your head.
Yeah, that
at the
would have
same
been
time.
great.
I would have been laughing.
The kids freaked out enough the way it was when I came walking on the. I didn't tell them I was doing it. I just went in the bathroom and buzzed it all off, and then walked on the living room.
Just tell Natalie you were doing it.
Yeah, she knew.
Okay.
Scared the hell out of Drew.
Well, yeah, Dad has always had a
Yeah.
beard, so
Forever. Yeah, it's been like 12 years since
I was saying I don't remember you being without
Bad
one.
news. I told Drew we could put some Elmer's glue on his face and then slap my shaved off hair, and he could go to school with a beard on his face, and he just looked at me like, "What are you talking about?"
That's funny. But yeah, good bet's gone bad.
Yeah.
You know what other things that I'm excited for?
The new year,
The new year.
snow,
Not the snow. No,
cold. The
not a
cold
fan
we're
of that.
coming. That's coming up.
I know. I thought we were gonna get through the whole winter without having to be cold and snowy, and
That would have been sweet, actually.
I was really kind of betting on it.
But hey, it's the 9th of January, and we've got a little bit of snow. It's going to be our first dash of cold. We've done pretty good.
We've done well. We've done well at this point. I think it's supposed to be in the 30s most this week,
Yep.
and then this weekend it gets to sub-zeros.
It's going to nosedive.
Yeah, but it's
Come
only
back-
for 2 days.
Yeah, then the middle of next week, it's going to be back up to the mid-20s. So
Yeah, no, I saw that.
it'll be fine.
So that's okay.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
We're doing okay for January.
And like in, I think 38 days or 39 days, the sunsets are back after 7 p.m. So
Oh, is that true?
yeah, so the days are getting longer again. So that's good.
Sweet. You know what that means?
That we won't come to work in the dark and go home in the dark.
Race season.
Oh yeah, race season.
Race season's right around
If the
corner.
snow's gone down in Iowa before you got to go race there.
I ain't racing in Iowa.
Oh,
Joke's on you.
sweet.
Minnesota.
Canada.
Going north. Where it rains. No, yeah. We're getting closer, though. What were we talking about today?
Something about your new product.
products.
New products.
Yeah, I think we're going to talk about some new products. I think, we were talking a little bit the other day, and there are some questions that have been asked. Some customers of ours have asked, the thought process behind latest product launches and service launches that we do, and kind of like, how do we come to those conclusions? Like, how do you determine when it's time to launch a new product? And really, in our situation, what was the thought process behind launching the new TC and the ISA model? And for us, the product launch, we pre-launched it at the end of last year. It's officially launched now. So we're starting to sell the machine now fully. We'll start shipping them here in about roughly 8 weeks. Excuse me. About 8 weeks we'll be shipping them. And the thought process behind it was, for us, is what can we do to further enhance our customers' capabilities? Because we've always kind of focused our attention on producing a better product, right? It's not always about being the cheapest product. It's not always being, a product that nobody else builds, right? But it's about bringing something to an industry that maybe doesn't already exist.
Yep.
And a lot of it for us was like when we started building CNC routers was building a more affordable solution, right? Because at the time when we got into CNC routers, the industry was $250,000 machines and up. There wasn't a lot under that. And the only handful of machines that were existent, I mean, they were pretty cheap. So when my dad started things, the old JB, he said, hey, we're going to build a better machine for less. And we started building it there. But then it was like, as soon as you do that, then that's where the race to the bottom happened. Yep. People come out and they're like, well, I can do it cheaper. Well, it's not about doing it cheaper.
No.
Like, cool, you can do it cheaper. Yeah, we could have too, but
your machine's going to last 1 year.
Yeah, your machine's junk and it's not going to last. Yep. So that's where for us, it was like build the better value, right? And that's where support and all that comes into play. Is like my dad's been big on taking care of the customers, and I've kind of really been big on pushing that. Kind of funny, I had helped a customer over the weekend. And to me, it's just natural to answer questions when I see them, right? And I answered it like 6 o'clock in the morning, whatever it was, 5:30 in the morning. Getting ready for my kid's hockey day. My kid had hockey this weekend, had a tournament. So I was getting him ready, and I answered this customer's question. And he messaged back, and he's like, do you ever sleep? He's like, I was not expecting an answer, and I just thought it was funny because it's like, that's who we are. Like, it's just natural to me when I see it, I'm going to respond to it. Sure. I don't have to, I understand that. But I think that's what sets us apart, is that we do things when we don't have to. And I think that's what sets a lot of people apart when it comes to being leaders, right? Is do the things that nobody else does. And
especially when it's something like that you can take a minute or less to just, throw something back at somebody, right? And give them a reply that's going to help them get to the next step of where they need to go as far as getting help or solving their problem, right?
Well, I think it comes from the fact, and I agree with you. I think it comes from the fact that, like, I'm impatient. So, like, when I need something, like, I know it holds me up when I'm waiting on other people. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, if I can stop from somebody having to wait, like, I will. Like, if I can solve the problem for them, I will. For sure. And a lot of times it does surprise people, but that's kind of the fun in it. It's kind of cool to give people something they weren't expecting, right? But my point being is, like, how do you get to that next level? Like, how do you determine your next product launch? Well, it's like, how do we continue to evolve, right? And when we do services, like the service launches we do, when we did the free support for life, like, that was really big on the fact of, like, peace of mind, helping a customer, have peace of mind that when they're investing in our product, they can count on us. But, like when it comes to the TC series, the pipe cutter, like, we've sold pipe cutters on our machine for years. I mean, many, many years we've sold pipe cutters, had a lot of success in the pipe industry. But as companies have evolved, these people who buy our plasma tables and they do things with plasma cutting, and they land these jobs that require a lot of tube cutting, right? Whether it's tube, pipe, whatever you're going to cut, it's round, square, rectangle. You suddenly need a machine that's kind of dedicated to it.
For sure.
And there's other machines out there. There's some products out there, but we get a lot of requests from our customers that said, hey, will you build me one? We have your software. We're already familiar with your plasma table. We just want a machine that's got the same, capabilities, but in a dedicated system. And that's where that kind of comes along for us. Is that's the customers kind of told us, like, this is what we want to see you building. And rather than building a one-off machine, that's not really who we are. Like, we don't build one-off custom stuff.
Yep.
So we had to start engineering it and figure out how to build it the best we can, because we don't want to just be another product on the market again, right?
Well, that's the first thing that came to mind, is like, there's so many companies that just rush to put something out, right? To be the first one to have it, or, the newest one to have it. And they put it together and put it out there, but then it doesn't work properly, or people don't like exactly what it does. It doesn't have all the functionality that it needs. And then you just struggle to try to get it right on the fly, right?
Right. And I think that's the thing, is there's a lot of companies out there that try to take credit for being the first at something, right? They're more focused on being first than they are being right or doing it right. And for me, I don't ever want to come to the market and try to say, like, I was the first to do it if it doesn't work.
Yep.
Like, if I'm going to be the first to do it, that's cool. But I don't want you to say they were the first to do it. You know what I want you to say? They did it right the first time.
Right.
Like, that's what I want them to say. Is like, I want the customer's mindset to always be like, you did it right. And if we were first at doing it and we did it right, that's even better, right? Mm-hmm. But the focus is always on doing right by our customers. And that goes with some of these products we've developed now. Like the tube cutter gives the ability for customers to get into a lot more, like the fabrication industry for race cars, right? We all know I'm into racing. And, whether you're in drag cars, your off-road vehicles, your, Jeep, whatever it is that you're into that's automotive related, like when you're building roll cages, You have to cut a lot of tube to do that.
Yep.
Like, why not build a machine that can help people do that?
And do it the same for everyone,
Right.
right? I mean, obviously, if you're going to put out a product, you want to be able to put out something that's going to be the same or nearly the same from the first guy to the 100th guy you give it to, right?
Right. I agree with that. Like being consistent. You know, like consistency is key. Being consistent in anything you do. And that's the same with like the ISA. Like, yeah, we have the IS, the ISM, and now we have the ISA. It's all built from the same family, right? But like the ISM was built for speed and performance. But there comes a point where like we've realized some of our customers outgrow the capacity of our IS machine, right? Because they're cutting sheets all day long in cabinet shops, things like that. But they grow to a level where maybe they didn't have it day one, right? Day one, and the reality is 3/4 of the customers never outgrow the capability of an IS table. I mean, it's built really extreme. But, you know, there are the extreme cases where you land a huge contract job or you end up with so much work that, you know, you are spending time trying to expand, you know, like where you're losing time because of the fact that you have to unload a table while you're trying to do something else. Well, now, rather than having to hire people, the ISA has given our customers the ability to expand within our organization. They don't have to go find a new company. And that's the number one complaint we see from our customers is that they leave us for these bigger machines and then they end up finding out they regret it because of the fact that the support isn't as good.
Yep.
The support didn't do what they are accustomed to. And we never had a solution previously.
Well, and I think it's kind of goes back to what we talked about before too, right? People want to have the consistency and they don't like change. So if they're working with, you know, their ShopSabre, their IS or ISM, whatever it is, they know what they're going to get from ShopSabre, whether it be the, you know, the technical support or whatever they need. They don't want to change that and go away from it. They know what they have. And
that's exactly what it comes down to. Is for us, it's really about that. It's making sure that people can grow their business without that scariness of like, I got to change everything I'm doing.
Yeah. And is it going to be one of those deals where we have an issue? Is somebody going to reply to us at 6 a.m. trying to help us out? You know what I mean? It's exactly what it's, I mean, people have that confidence in ShopSabre and know that that's what they're going to get when they have their machine. They don't want to go and wonder if somebody else is going to be there to answer their call on the weekend or if they're going to have to wait 2 days until Monday's here.
Well, that's exactly it. It's, you know, a lot of it's just comfort level, right?
Yep.
Being able to get yourself into a level of familiarity, right? I already know this machine. I have the software. I have this all figured out. I don't want to start over.
Yep.
You know, and that's the problem is sometimes people are forced to start over, not because they really don't like the machine they have, right?
Right.
I mean, a lot of our customers love the ShopSabre machine, but maybe they've outgrown its capability. They needed something with an unload capability. Well, we wanted to give people the ability to now do that.
Correct.
And that's really where our thought process comes from, is like, it's not about it not working for you. It's the next level. How do you expand into that next level? Either add a second machine, or if you don't have a space, then you add an unload solution, you know?
Well, and now they have that, like you said, they have that solution to move up to the next level while knowing exactly what they have to do to continue to use the machine to produce what they've been producing with higher capacity without having to stop and learn new software, learn a new controller, whatever it might be.
Right.
They can just continually move their products out of the machine, off the table, and into the customer's hands.
Right. And that's exactly it. So it's like, for us, when we look at doing some of that stuff, it's more about that. It's how can we help you get to the level that you're trying to go without messing up what you already know, right? Without having to change the way you've done business historically.
For sure.
I guess that's how I've always looked at it. So like when people ask us, like, how do you decide? Like I look at really what's the customer's needs. What's our customer's needs, not the customers we don't have already.
Right.
Look at the customers you already have sold to, because that's the best place to kind of learn is the people who have bought from you. Why did they buy from you?
Because they trust the quality your company is going to give them. They've heard from others that your company is putting out good products. They want to work with a good company. And if they hear that from people, they're going to want to use you, right?
Right.
And why not listen to those customers that are currently using your products as to what they need when you're developing new products? Like those are the people you want to cater, maybe not cater to is the right word, but those are the people you want to listen to for feedback to know what they're looking for to obviously support your business and spend more money with you buying machines, right?
Right. There's a lot of people that you can talk to on the, you know, in the world that will give you their opinion, right?
Yeah.
The opinion's not the problem, but you need to be able to decipher what's valid information, right? And what I mean by valid information is like you said, talk to your customers. It's information from people who have spent money with you.
Yep.
And they're willing to tell you like what they like, don't like, right? And that's what we've always done is like we do send out a survey periodically to our customers and we ask them, name something that you would change. Like we want to know what it is. And then I'm going to be honest, you get some wild answers.
Oh yeah.
And some of them, it's like, it's ridiculous. Like that's never going to happen. Like you're the only person that's ever said that.
And it obviously doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense to change it for one person.
Yep.
But like you will start to learn that there's a handful of consistent answers. And that consistency is what I look at.
For sure.
Is the people who say the same thing over and over and over and over. That's like, okay, there might be some merit to this.
And obviously that's going to be worth your time and your
Correct.
research to come up with something
Correct.
that's a solution for them.
Yep.
That that isn't going to be, okay, well, we came up with this product, but now we're not selling it because we
Yeah.
listened to that one person that said they might need
Well,
it.
that's exactly it. Like if you're not careful and you try to solve everybody's needs, like you're going to sell one machine forever, right? Or one product forever because one person had a wild idea that needed it.
Well, I think you see that a lot too. Like I've seen it quite a bit recently with, it's a totally different business, but people that are either opening up restaurants or going into like a restaurant type of business and they hear people telling them that they need to have these types of things on their menu or this, expand your menu and make all these different things because this one person wants it.
Right.
I think you need to stick with what you do good. I think when I go to someplace, I want to have a smaller, when I go to a place for good food, I want to have somebody that's doing 10 or 12 things really good.
Yes.
As opposed to having 200 things that are
I
mediocre.
hate menus that are 200.
Yeah, you
things.
shouldn't have 9 pages on your menu.
Like for me, it gets overwhelming.
Absolutely.
Because then I'm like, in those restaurants, I always ask the hostess and the waiters and all them, like, what do you recommend? Because like, generally they're going to know what's good and not good.
For sure.
Because like, I can't look through several pages to figure out which one of your items is your signature item.
But it's the same thing. Go back to machines. If you have 600 different machines that somebody's looking at,
Correct.
how are you going to, somebody's going to be overwhelmed and be like,
Correct.
oh, I don't know what to pick here. Like you can
Correct.
have anybody in the world telling them what this, that, or the other thing does, but
Yep.
this one person needs to make a choice on one machine and not have all of them to choose from.
And that's kind of how, exactly. We've kind of done it that way. We have different levels for different needs, and it is what it is. Like we don't build custom random stuff,
Or you don't have like 17 different sizes of tables. Like,
Right.
You have like the standard
we have our
sizes.
standard
and that's it.
sizes, and that's exactly it. We don't get into custom crazy stuff because, again, it makes it too hard to really be good at anything. Like,
For sure.
Like they always say, a Swiss Army knife can do a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
But it's not. It doesn't do any one of them great.
Right.
It does things good, but nothing great.
And when it goes back to you have people doing things like on the production floor that are doing the same things consistently.
Correct.
They get really, really, really good at putting these machines together.
Less mistakes.
Less mistakes. You know exactly what you're doing every day.
Yeah, and I think that's what people need to hear, like as they're listening to this, is like, as you expand your product lines and you look at what does your 2024 look like, and you start thinking about the ShopSabre machines, maybe that's in your future is to add a CNC machine. ShopSabre.com. And now let's say you go out there and you start looking around and you want to buy a machine. It's like, you have to remember that consistency matters.
For sure.
So buying a machine that is consistent, right? Something that you can depend on is worth your investment, because if you're going to cut cabinets all day or signs all day or whatever you're cutting all day, like knowing that you can turn the machine on every day and it does the job the way it's supposed to do.
Correct. And does it correctly.
Correct.
All day long.
That's what you want.
As long as you tell it to do it correctly, right?
Well, that's exactly, like I want it to be as smart as the file, right? I don't want to have an inconsistent machine. I'd rather have a bad file and I know where the problem is and I fix it,
Absolutely.
than to have a machine that can't hit its dimensions over and over and over for a long period of time.
Well, it's like the old saying goes, right? Quality over quantity.
Right.
So you have 10 quality machines as opposed to 100 mediocre machines.
Exactly. I agree with that. Yeah, and I think that's exactly it. Like, you hear guys that buy machines and they're like, oh, I'm just going to buy this one, and then when I outgrow that one, I'll buy that one, and I'll just keep upgrading. I can buy one of those machines cheaper. Like, the thought process as a business, it blows me away.
Right, but you can buy the one machine that fits
Right.
your needs for, 10, 12 years for the price it's going to cost you to eventually
Have
get
done
there
that
with 3
anyways.
other machines. Like,
Correct.
You're going to buy it 3 times over. Why not just do it once?
And you had to relearn something, and you're dealing with all the headaches along the way. Like,
Correct.
I don't know. I guess I don't have the time for that as a business.
No, and think of all the stoppages in production you're going to have, switching between machines and all that stuff that happens.
When somebody says that to me, a lot of times I just I picture this like completely unorganized company.
For sure.
Like there's no thought process behind it. They're just running by the seat of their pants and hoping they survive. Because it's
Right.
like there's no planning, there's no real thought process. Because like if you're willing to throw money out the door like that, just openly, like you're probably not managing the business very well.
No, and you're always playing catch up, coming from behind.
Right.
And not
Like you
trying
don't want to be
just-
that person. You want to show that like you know how to lead, right? And you lead by having a plan.
For sure.
I'll tell you right now, like I don't run into battle. You know, I mean, you're never gonna run into a battle like that you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
Right? Like I'm not gonna like if somebody called me up tomorrow and was like, hey, you need to do this, like I don't build something I don't know how to do.
Yep.
Like I would never commit to a job. So why would I do that? You know, like if I don't commit to that, why would I run my business the same way?
Well, and all you're going to do by doing that is open yourself up to having to deal with problems.
Well, I think you just open yourself up to the world of failure.
For sure.
Like there's one thing to try something, right? But you have to be open that you're trying something different. But to just throw yourself into it like, oh yeah, we're going to figure this out and then this and this, and then it just fails like constantly. And then we'll replace it with another one if that doesn't work. And if that one doesn't work, we'll replace it with it. Like that mentality is like, my God.
And all the time and effort you spent into figuring this one out and then figuring out the next one. Like
Resources.
just do it right the first time.
Right.
And do your research the first time and get it right the first time.
And
Then
that's
you
where
wanna-
like
you don't
product
have to catch up all the time and be redoing things over and over and over.
and that's where product expansion comes from. Is like you choose to expand your product based on calculated risk,
Yep.
right?
For sure.
I like that, calculated risk.
Calculated risk.
Yeah, because it is. It's, I mean, everything that you do is a risk, right? You
Yep.
can release a new product and it flops. But the reality is when you release a product, it's with a calculated risk, right? Hopefully you have designed that new cabinet or that new sign or whatever you're coming out with a thought. There's a market for it. You verify that there is actually a purpose for building what you're about to build.
And then at least once, if you put the time and effort into it and produce that product and it doesn't work, at least you know that you didn't just wing it and throw it out there with the hopes of it working. You actually did some planning. And
When
had-
it doesn't work, you first get upset. But you know you tried.
For sure.
Because there's a reason why you did it.
and
Versus,
then you learn from it.
yeah, versus when you try something and there was no thought process behind it all. It's just a waste, right? It's one thing to go out and buy something on a whim and have no plan.
Right.
It's probably not setting yourself up for success. It's another thing to have a plan and it not work out, but at least like, okay, now there's something to work with, right?
Yep.
Okay, it's not working the way I expected. Okay, now we can tweak it. What do we need to do differently, right? We have a plan, but when you have no plan from the beginning, you don't know what to tweak because the whole thing was a shot in the dark.
And then you're going to go back to square one and start over again. And hopefully
Right.
the lack of planning this time works out for you. It's not going to ever work out for you if you don't at least put the effort in to figure it out to begin with.
And that's where I'm coming from. So like as people are kind of looking at it like why do we come up with new products? Why do we come up with new services? I think the reason we do it is to solve the need that we've determined is already there.
For sure. But at the same time, putting in the research and the
Correct.
effort to make sure it's right when you actually put it out there.
Right. And that's what I was gonna say is once we determine there's a need, that's where for us the real work starts. Like determining the need's the easy part.
For sure.
But then it's like getting it right. Like you said, it's not about being the first to the market with it. Like, oh my God, nobody's got one of these. We should do it.
Well, especially when you can tell people, hey, we're working on it. There's
Yep.
something coming.
Yeah.
But it takes the time and effort and thought process, like you said, to put into it to make sure that when we actually get it to you,
Yeah.
that it's going to work the way that you need it to.
Well, it kind of goes back to like the whole dust skirt situation that started like over 2 years ago. Like there was a big boom for a small amount of time and people thought the dust skirts were a big problem, right? Like, oh my God, the dust stock is too slow. And then it kind of faded away because people realized the dust stock is not slow at all. Like it's from a time perspective, it really doesn't change most businesses. But it kind of reminds me of that, where people were rushing to make conclusions. Oh, you got to change this. You got to do this. You got to do this. Like, no, we're working on some stuff. It's coming. It'll make a difference in your business if speed is really your issue.
Yep.
And then the Fave 3 came out a year and a half later, right? And after that, it's suddenly you realize how fast people's attitudes change.
For
Oh,
sure.
it really wasn't about speed anymore. Because now this machine's faster than they can produce.
Yep.
And it really didn't save their business. Oh, the machine's still sitting idle. So it really wasn't about speed. It was just fathomed, oh, we got to save speed because somebody told them they had to save speed.
Yep. And
Like-
that was the first thing they could point their finger at, right? That's
Right. It's just
oh,
an
it
easy
looks
thing.
like this is going a little bit slower, so this is the problem.
And it's easy when it's something that you can't offer. When, we had the dust stock. We are one of the exclusive companies. So, of course, when you're selling equipment and people are doing things that can't match it, they're going to point a finger at it and say, it's the problem.
Yep.
But then companies like us, we engineer and develop a way to make it faster. Because instead of just shotgunning stuff at it or, oh yeah, you're right, we're wrong. No, let's factually look at things.
Yep.
And that's where like the development of the Fave 3 came from, was what are people saying? They're saying they need to speed up their machine. Okay. Well, we know the dust stock works.
Yep.
The dust collection is not the problem. There isn't a dust collection system on the market that can outperform the dust stock, hands down.
So what can we do to actually improve the speed that's actually going to improve it?
Well, then we looked at it as, so what are they doing? They don't care about the dust collection, clearly, because they're removing our dust collection system, getting worse dust collection to speed up their machine. Okay, well, now let's develop a new system that doesn't require you to dock the skirt anymore, where it can change tools faster. So now we've given you your favorite 3 tools, and it's much faster, speeds up the tool change. The cutting time is improved.
Yep.
Which we've proven. We have customers in the field that have openly said, like head to head, they have both machines and they cut a lot faster with the Fave 3. Okay, so now we've solved that problem. But now we have to come up with the dust collection solution, right? And obviously through some stuff, we worked with TCC on their dust skirt. That's, we have a TCC solution that's available, which is, something that you can get through TCC, or, ShopSabre's working on some stuff with them. But we came up with our own solution through another vendor of ours. The vendor that helped us develop the dust stock developed a new skirt for the Fave 3. Dust collection matches anything on the market. There is not a skirt on the market that's going to perform any differently than the skirt that comes with the Fave 3.
So again, it goes back to put a little bit of time and
Right.
research and effort into coming up with a solution that's actually going to help.
Correct.
Instead of just saying, oh, it's this thing when it's really not.
Exactly. And so it's like now we have a solution that works for, do you want the best dust collection possible? Then you buy the dust stock. Do you need the most speed possible? Buy the Fave 3.
Yep.
Like there's a best of both worlds now, right? And then we evolved the next and we took the Fave 3 and said, okay, let's one up it. Now for the ISA machine, the ISA has the Fave 3 on steroids. It has the rotary carousel tool changer and a bidirectional solution and a Fave 3 slide system. So it slides into the head right at the cutting surface. Like there's no more moving to a tool changer anymore.
Yeah, that thing's sweet.
It's ridiculous. It's so fast. Like speed is not a concern anymore.
No.
Like you will not find, if that machine is not fast enough for you, there isn't a machine out there that's gonna be fast enough for you.
Right.
You're gonna have to have multiple machines. Like that machine is stupid fast. The amount of time it takes to change tools, non-existent. The motion control on that machine is ridiculous. But it's all through a concept, an idea, right? Like the idea was make things faster.
Yep.
Then how do we do it right? Yeah, we could have done it fast, right? We could have just shotgun parts at it and made a machine that worked. But it wasn't the way it should be done. It would have been like any other machine in the market, and it really doesn't give you a reason to go that direction. We're giving you a reason to solve a problem.
Yep. And there still would have been things that it didn't do properly, right? So sure, it was really fast, but there was other things that it was going to not do right because you just threw something at it.
You would have lost time.
Yep.
Yeah, you would have lost time on something else.
So again, it goes back to taking the time, do the research, do the testing, whatever, figure it out and do it properly the first time. If it takes you a little bit longer, takes you a few months longer to get it out, so be it, but it's going to be done right from the get-go, and they're going to get the proper product from the beginning and not have to go back and try to fix something later.
Well, that's my big thing. Like, once I sell it to you and it's in the field, it's a lot harder for me to revise it.
Right.
You don't have the tools I have. Most shops don't have the tools we have or the machinery we have. So if something needs to be fixed or changed, that's a big task in the field.
Well, and then you're going to look like, I don't know, you just threw something out there to get it out there that didn't work, and then you're going to have customers that are questioning what you're doing, right?
That's right. Yeah, I'd say that's true. Like, and that's why you have to think about your business. Is if you're listening to this, what concepts are you working on? What new product are you working on? Have you thought about some of those questions? Like, where are you going with your idea? Maybe you got a new cabinet design, a door design, maybe a new closet design, whatever it is you're working on. You have to start thinking about, like, is it worth hanging on to the idea a little longer? We all get excited, right? We get new ideas and we want to bring them to market, and it's super cool to be able to launch something new. And I think any business owner gets nervous when they have something new coming that somebody else has the idea too and they're going to launch it first.
Yep.
We all have that feeling. But for me, that's changed over the years. Like, I used to be really bad about that. Really impatient. Like, we got to get it out there. I don't want somebody else to take the idea. I don't care if somebody else takes it first. It's not about getting credit for doing it first. I know how long we've been working on it.
Do it right.
Mine's about getting it to the market and being right about it.
Yep.
And there's been times when we've been working on something and somebody else has come out with a product eerily similar to what we've done. And it's like, we had no idea they were working on it. Mm-hmm. But obviously it looks like we copied them because at the end it's like, okay, our product looks similar, acts similar, whatever. But I'm 100% confident every time we've gone to market with a product that our product will work better.
For sure.
Like I am that confident in our engineering in house. And today we have that. You saw that video, obviously I shared with you. We're going to be going live with it here soon. But we have our new robotic welder up, the cobot. And those kind of things are what excite me. Like we've been working on this for months, getting the cobot system set up out there, where now it's all robotic welding for our gantry systems.
I mean, think about that. They're all going to be
Right.
exactly identical. I mean, obviously with doing things with humans, there's going to be,
Yeah.
I mean, there's always a chance for human error, right? We all know that.
Well, we joked about it today with the sales team. Like, when people go on vacation, they have pre-vacation and then they have hangover vacation.
Yep.
So day before you go on vacation, you're thinking about your vacation, then you go on vacation, and then the day you come back from your vacation, you're so tired from your vacation that they don't work the same, you know? And so it's like things like that, being sick and, other things on their mind. You run into situations where you're short-staffed, you don't get things done because of the fact of people aren't as reliable sometimes.
Yep.
Cobots are reliable. They show up every day. They're there every day. And the thing is I can train the people we have already on how to run them. Mm-hmm. So the great welders we have can continuously weld the other stuff. But like some of this repetitive, it's the same thing every day. They can let the robot run it, and they just have to sit there and run the buttons.
Right. Well, and I think too, it takes away a little bit of the monotonous and repetitive things of the day to day, right? I mean, let's be honest, you get sick of doing the same thing over and over and over every day, right?
Yeah,
like
and
having a little bit of change up is nice.
And we have some good welders out there, and they what I love about our welders is they adapt to the change. They love it because I have one of them that joked with me. He's like, dude, I'm not getting younger. He's like, crawling around a machine to weld on it's not fun.
Yeah.
He's like, my body's not going to be upset that I don't have to, crawl under a table or sit under a table, like that I can do it this way. The gantry I don't have to flip the gantry, a bunch of times for me to get to it. Like the robot just goes around it. So it's kind of cool because like they adapt, they understand that it makes their life easier.
For sure.
And so it's like one of those things, like when we adapt manufacturing processes, we look at like, what can we do to enhance not only the customer experience, right? The product at the end, but what can we do to enhance the employee experience? What can we do to make your lives easier?
Not have you crawling on your back onto these machines and rolling on a cement floor, right? I mean, who's going to dislike that?
Well, think about safety too, right? From a safety standpoint, like not having to crawl around and put yourself in awkward positions, right?
Yep.
It's just a safer environment for everybody.
Absolutely.
And so there's a lot of things we've taken into consideration. So like when people ask us, like, well, how did you come up with that concept? Sometimes we design a machine or redesign a machine or come up with something new because of the fact that we're trying to remove processes too, right?
Yep.
The processes are taking too long. They're too costly. Therefore, the price is too high for the customer. How can we simplify the process without hurting the design? That's where engineering gets involved. Guys, we need it to run this way, but we got to make it easier for the team to build it.
Yep.
And then that's where some of the redesign stuff over the years has come from. I mean, the Pro Series, the old machine we used to build, the 4896. Some customers might be listening to this going, hey, I have one of those. Great machine. Worked awesome. But they were very, very time-consuming to build. Very time-consuming to build. And we had to have very skilled, very highly trained people to get those machines put together. Because you couldn't just build them yourself. Like, you had to understand straightening of steel and that to get to the level. That's where the Pro Series was developed. We built the Pro Series and we'd invested in our first mill, our first aerospace mill when we had the aerospace mill installed. And a lot of that stuff came from the fact of we can build a better machine faster. And so now the machine's got more accurate. The 4896 was great at the time. The Pro Series runs circles around it. Right? And then from the Pro Series, the IS Series came, the ISM. And look at all the machines that stemmed from that one change. But the only reason, holy, I don't know where holy came from. The only reason that we made that change wasn't because the product didn't work. It was because we were trying to streamline the process.
Yep.
Make it easier on our customers to obtain our product. Because rather than having to wait long lead times, 20 weeks, we could build them a machine faster. And now our lead times are kind of record lows,
Yeah.
And so it's proven that like by streamlining processes, we've made a better product, but also made it more obtainable by our customers.
Well, and again, made it easier on your employees to do their job, right?
Right.
Because they're not having to go through all of the time-consuming, painstaking processes of doing all those clunky projects to get it put together. Now they have a way easier process and obviously enjoy their day a lot more, right?
Well, you just think about how much more you get done when you can go through your day without hurdles.
Yeah.
Right?
Everything goes smoothly.
Well, I always joke. If you look at a track runner and you run a 100-yard race, right? If they run, or 100 meter or whatever you want to call it, right?
Yep.
You run your sprint. Now put hurdles in that same race. Who's going to win that race? The one that doesn't have to jump over hurdles.
Correct. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So it's like when you look at in your business, look at it the same way. You're both trying to get to the same result. If we could take out the hurdles, you're going to get more done.
For sure.
And what does that mean as a business owner?
Well, I mean, obviously, you're going to put out more product.
Yep.
Which means more revenue. Which means.
And that's the key to business right there.
Right.
It's you've increased revenue, increased profits. You're probably going to obtain better quality workers because they're not having to jump through all the hurdles. Therefore, the stress of their job goes down.
Yep.
It's easier to maintain employees. Like you think about all the things in the world today. There's a million reasons why people don't go to work. Don't be another reason why.
Right.
Because you're too cheap to invest in your product and too cheap to invest in your process. Like you have to start thinking about that. So in 2024, like that's what we've done. We've invested in our people. We've invested in our products. I mean, the Cobot is online now. One of the first, I mean, what are we? January 8th?
Yeah.
January 8th, we already made an improvement on 2024 over 2023.
1 weekend.
1 weekend. What have you done in your shop this week to make yourself better?
That's a great question.
Hopefully people are asking themselves that.
And hopefully they have good answers, right?
And if they don't, they can buy a ShopSabre.
ShopSabre.com.
Which will definitely improve your business in 2024.
There we go. It'll at least help us, It'll help streamline. If you got the business, you got something you're doing there, there's no reason to be paying people anymore. I saw an email today from somebody that said that somebody down the street's cutting parts for him. Oh, but he does it so cheap. He's still not doing it cheaper than you can do it.
Right?
I don't care how cheap he cuts it. He's not losing money.
And like we've said, even if you're not feeling the need for it right now in 2024, get a head start on 2025, right?
Right.
And have it ahead of time and don't play catch up.
Get used to it. Like that's the thing is people wait too long. They wait till they have a need for it.
Yep.
Like, oh my God, we need it so bad. Well, good news. Now we can get it to you. Costs you more money and you have less time to really learn it. So your use of the machine becomes less efficient.
Yep.
Because you're such a rush.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. You got to be proactive instead of reactive.
Correct. And that's again, it goes back to good businesses versus great businesses.
Yep.
Good businesses will be reactive, right? They'll get it done. They know they need to. They recognize it and they get it done. That's a good business.
Yep.
Great businesses are proactively looking at it. Like we know this is coming. We see this as the future. I have a vision for it. I'm a visionary. I'm going to get it done. So that way, when that time comes, I'm already prepared for it.
And you're already ahead of the curve.
Correct.
And
that's the difference between greatness and good.
For sure.
So that's what I got today. It was a fun episode.
That was good.
Yeah, it was fun. Now it's snowing outside.
It's getting cold.
Boone, Iowa got 10 inches of snow last night. It's
Lucky them.
2.5 hours from here.
It's
a very close distance for us not getting nearly that.
It's kind of crazy, though, if you think about it.
I know.
I mean, just weird.
I raced there. That's how I know. Is a bunch of guys have been posting pictures of it. But 10 inches of snow last night. And I had a dusting.
Yeah, we didn't have much in my house either.
Yeah.
Not even enough to use the brush on the windows. Just gave her a little accelerator heading towards the corner.
Jeez.
And the snow blew away. So
I went out, what's today?
Tuesday.
So Monday, Saturday. I don't know. I went out one day this weekend. I don't know. That was a lot. I went out this weekend though, and it was enough snow where so I'm really picky. I don't like to drive on the snow. Not drive on the street. Let me take that back. I don't mind driving in the snow.
Yep.
I don't like driving on the snow on my driveway.
Because you don't want the tire tracks.
I don't want the
left
tracks
there all winter long.
Yes, correct. So it bugs me.
Yep.
My wife knows it bugs me. So when she has to leave, I have to get up early to get the snow off the driveway. We had a hockey tournament this weekend. We had to be at the rink at 7:30 a.m., meaning I had to get up early to get the driveway cleaned off so I could get my kid there. I went outside and it was just enough to be annoying.
Yep.
I couldn't use the snow plow. My plow is no good to me. There's not enough snow for that. So I didn't really feel like shoveling it because it was this annoying. So I went and grabbed the leaf blower.
That's what I did too.
It was awesome.
Same thing.
I grabbed the
Same
leaf
thing.
blower and I
was hoping that's where you're going with it.
Yeah, I did. I grabbed my leaf blower and I just blew off the driveway. It took me 25 minutes to do the front driveway and then the back driveway.
Yep.
Yeah, I went and did the shop too because at that point I was having fun.
Right.
But my neighbor came outside while I was doing it. I figured at 7 o'clock in the morning nobody's going to notice. My neighbor walked outside and you could see she was going to her car and she just stopped and turned and watched me. And she watched for a few minutes as I'm blowing the snow off my driveway. And you could tell she was watching me do it for a second. And then she kind of gave a little chuckle and got in her car and drove off. And then she just waved as she went by. But for a second, she's thinking like, is he really leaf blowing his driveway right now?
I didn't know I lived next door to a psychopath.
Yeah, like she probably thought that, But they're super cool people. I like our neighbors a lot. But yeah, I was out there leaf blowing.
Well, you made the best of a situation you didn't want to have to deal with.
I didn't want to shovel.
No.
And I knew it was light enough that I could blow it away. But I will say, I was surprised that when you get towards the end of the driveway, the snow that you're blowing down the driveway tends to build up.
Oh, yeah.
And it takes a lot more time to move the last 5 feet of your driveway than the first 25 feet of your
Just
driveway.
like blowing leaves through the yard, right?
Dude, it's crazy. Like, I don't know why, but in my mind, it was just going to float.
Yep.
No, it landed. And then, of course, it was now a lot harder because it picked it up and landed once already.
Could have went and got the shovel at that point.
I was committed. Nick, I was committed.
Good job.
But you're right. The shovel would have been faster on the last 5 feet of the driveway. I was committed.
You still had fun.
And I had battery power left. I wanted to see how long the battery would last.
That was 5 more minutes of enjoyment. You got
I have an
with a leaf
electric
blower.
leaf blower. It's got like a portable battery.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see how long it would last. It lasts enough to do my front driveway and half of my back driveway.
Perfect. Then you can holler at the kids to come out and help you with the
I shoveled the last half of the driveway. The back driveway, not the front driveway. No. But if I would have shoveled the end of the front driveway, I probably would have got both driveways down.
I'm really confused now. What happened with all of it? Front driveway, back driveway. Which one got finished?
The race car driveway did not get done.
Oh, that's why you're still here, not in Arizona. You couldn't get the car out.
No, that's not why I'm out.
Oh, okay.
But I almost did it.
I thought we were going to get a break from you this week.
I almost did it. I almost left. I was being peer pressured by a lot of people like, yeah, you should come down. And I'm like, so me and my buddies rushed and got the car done this weekend. And that's when I was like, I am one decision away from going out. I just got to load up and go. And then you know how you like get that feeling that you're probably better off to just stick with your original plan?
You would have had to drive through a snowstorm. That would have.
That's exactly it.
That
like,
would have been terrible.
But that's what, like, I had that feeling on Saturday, and I don't know weather like you do, so I didn't look. I looked, and I'm like, okay, we're fine. But yeah, I would have driven through a snowstorm twice because Colorado got hammered too.
Yeah, you would have been. You would probably just been like paralleling it.
Yeah, I would have just basically ran through that snowstorm for a day.
That would have been no fun.
Right, and
then you might not even got there on time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, who knows what would have happened? Like, hopefully don't get in an accident, but you never know.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm just glad at this point that I stuck with my gut and went, you know what?
Oh, the stamp.
Not meant to be this year.
Probably smart.
Yeah. So now I'm here with you.
And we pulled off another great episode.
Another great episode here.
135.
135.
What was the title?
I don't know. We changed it 3 times. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll title it something here when we're done.
To listen back tomorrow morning and see what it was.
Nick's Beardless Stories.
No, it was something better than that.
I don't think it had anything. I think it was risk on bets that gone wrong or something. Good bets that went
Good
bad
bets
or
gone
something.
bad or
something like that.
something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever.
But it had nothing to do with our episode. So. But yeah, that's what I got for you guys today. So again, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Next week, we'll be back with a special guest. We're going to have Sean Morley here next week.
Sweet.
We're talking a little bit about what he's seeing for this year, as a CNC owner, what his plans are, what he's hoping for. And we got some new episodes coming up. Pretty excited about that. So yeah, stay tuned. With that, I'm Brandon.
I'm Nick.
Thanks for talking shop with ShopSabre.